Hey everybody, welcome back to the Wolf Pit with another episode of What Are We Eating? And What Are We Cooking? That's right, today is a 2-for-1 episode. If you're in the mood to play a drinking game, this is the video to do it. Take a drink every time you hear me say wiener, and let's see what kind of shape you're in at the end of the video. Have you ever had a foot-long hot dog? There's nothing like wrapping your lips around a 12-inch wiener, loaded with all of your favorite toppings. As soon as you bite into it, the juices explode and run down your face and hands. Messy things tend to taste better, don't they? Footlong hot dogs used to be one of my favorite things to eat as a kid. But I haven't had one in years. So I was in Walmart the other day and found these ballpark footlong franks and had to get them. I'm not a huge hot dog fan to begin with, but when I do eat them, I prefer the all-beef hot dogs. Unfortunately, these footlongs are made with chicken and pork, which almost makes me cringe. But they're the only ones I've seen in the store in a long time, so I grabbed a pack. Then I headed over to the bread section to get some buns. All they had was regular sized buns. I even asked the lady behind the counter, and they don't sell them. Why would you sell foot-long hot dogs with no buns to put them in? It's a must to always have warm, fresh buns to put your wiener in, isn't it? I looked in 5 other stores, nobody had foot-long buns. I thought about using a baguette, but I came up with a different idea. Instead of making foot-long hot dogs, why not make foot-long pigs in a blanket? Which in hindsight, could have worked as buns too if you split them down the middle, and then add your favorite toppings. But these didn't last long enough to actually make a hot dog out of. With this being a 2-for-1 video, let's get the what are we eating part done first. The footlong franks have the typical store-bought hot dog ingredients: mechanically separated meats, sodium, and nitrates. Nothing really non-typical here. Per 12-inch frank, there's 360 calories, 30 grams of total fat, 10 grams of saturated fat, 80 milligrams of cholesterol, 960 milligrams of sodium, 10 carbohydrates, no fiber, 4 grams of sugars, and 10 grams of protein. For the blanket part of the pigs in the blanket, I'm using Foodline brand big and buttery crescent rolls, which actually have a lot of ingredients for basically bread. But whatever, I've never heard anyone question what's in pigs in the blanket when they're shoving them into their pie hole, so it is what it is. Per crescent roll, there's 200 calories, 11 grams of total fat, 4.5 grams of saturated fat, 2 grams of polyunsaturated fat, and 3.5 grams of monounsaturated fat, which are both healthy fats. So these are basically health foods at this point. There's no cholesterol, 380 milligrams of sodium, 22 grams of carbohydrates, no fiber, 5 grams of sugars, and 3 grams of protein. Now that that's out of the way, let's make these giant pigs in a blanket. Or should they be called hogs in a blanket? You'll need 2 packs of crescent rolls and 1 pack of quarter-pound foot-long wieners. When you roll out the crescent rolls, there's 8 individual rolls. Separate these in half, and that's 4 crescent rolls per wiener. Pinch together all the preparations to form one piece of dough as best you can. Then, do what you would normally do with small pigs in a blanket. Roll the wiener into the bun. I thought about adding some cheese, but I wanted to keep these plain and simple. So let's make one more. Pinch together all the preparations to form one piece of dough. Then roll up your fat frank in the soft and moist dough. Repeat that process 2 more times. Then place them onto a baking sheet. Then push the ends of the dough in so you can see the wiener, because the dough is going to expand and you gotta have a little wiener sticking out. It can't be all covered up, you gotta see the wiener. Then bake in a 375-degree oven for 12 to 15 minutes or until golden brown. If you want them to be nice and shiny, brush a little egg wash on the top of the crescent rolls. After 15 minutes, our hogs in a blanket are done and they look and smell really good. To give you an idea of how big these are, look at them compared to my hand. There's not a better feeling when your wiener is bigger than your hand, is there? Now who has wiener envy? I serve these with mustard, which is what goes on a hot dog. If you like ketchup on your wiener, that's fine. I'll send you a coupon for kids cuisine, because kids put ketchup on their wieners, not adults. Even though these weren't all beef hot dogs, there was enough bread to disguise the taste, and they were pretty darn good. But they would have been so much better with a nice big fat beefy wiener. Besides these being quite tasty, you only have to eat one compared to a whole plate full of normal pigs in a blanket. But to put the nutrition into perspective, per one giant pig in a blanket, which consists of 1 foot-long quarter-pound wiener and 4 crescent rolls, there's 1,160 calories, 74 grams of total fat, 28 grams of saturated fat, 2 grams of polyunsaturated fat, 3.5 grams of monounsaturated fat, 80 milligrams of cholesterol, 2,480 milligrams of sodium, 98 carbohydrates, no fiber, and 24 grams of protein. So you get the idea. This isn't health food, which I don't think anybody thought pigs in a blanket were. But you'd have to eat 10 normal-sized pigs in a blanket to equal these numbers, which now that I think about it, doesn't really sound that abnormal. So the next time you want to make pigs in a blanket, just make 4 big ones instead of a bunch of them. All in all, these turned out pretty good. The hot dog wasn't my favorite, but it could have been a lot worse. It could have been a Dollar Tree hot dog. If you'd like to help support the Wolf Pit, please consider being a patron. You can pledge as little as $1 a month. That's only $12 for the whole year. Or you can pledge more. That's up to you. Either way, every little bit's appreciated and helps me produce more high-quality videos more often for you, the people. Thank you all very much for watching. Please don't forget to like this video and subscribe, and I'll see you soon.